All right, so today I am honored and blessed to have the great Ashley Molina joining us on The Real Deal today, all the way from up north, right? New York City. And
Corona
so,
Central.
huh?
Corona Central.
Corona Central, yeah. I read an article a couple of days ago that of the 60 something deaths, 60% or so of the deaths in the country, 60 something percent of them are focused in the New York and New Jersey area. Most of
Yeah,
them are coming from there. So it's pretty bad up there.
it is. It's terrible.
Well, I hope you're staying safe. Um,
Yes.
especially now. I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing well and staying safe. I wanted to do this quick call. I won't take up too much of your time. First of all, I want to thank you for jumping on this call to share with your fellow family members what you've been doing to adapt, shift, and pivot your business during these times right now. You and I have had many calls over the last couple of weeks. We got to hang out in Puerto Rico as well, got to learn more
Yeah.
about your business, your operations. And after Puerto Rico, you also became a coach for Real Advisors,
Yes.
which has been pretty cool and awesome. The people, the students, they love you. And what I also love with all of our coaches actually is that they're active operators. They're really doing this business right now at a really high level, every single one of them. And each of them are coming up with their own unique ideas, innovations to add to their business, to adapt to their specific markets and marketplace to be able to still thrive right now. So Ashley, I want you to share some of the specific things that you did in your business, to address the concerns and the challenges today, right now, with lenders backing out. You may not be borrowing money yourself, but your buyers might be borrowing money.
Yeah.
And then buyers backing out of deals, right? We hear the story from all these different investors around the country that this is happening. So what specific things did you do in your business to address that concern and so that you could still keep your business afloat and moving forward, not just surviving, but also thriving? And I want you to share some of the active deals that you have going on right now. Right now, on today's date, it is April 28th, right? There's the date, April 28th. I want you to share what you're doing right now. Actually, did you see that date? I want to make sure you guys saw that. April 28th. I'm going to pull it up on my calendar real quick so you can see it is April 28th right now. I don't know if they actually saw that, but we'll just put up a graphic
I
just in
saw
case
it.
they. All right. So what are you doing right now to adjust right now with your business?
Yeah, so I think our main focus when we started the quarter, because the quarter started in the midst of the coronavirus and stuff like that, our main focus, which was me and my operation manager, Ashley, her name is Ashley also, our main focus was to reverse engineer, right? So we understood that now the market wasn't about just marketing to sellers right away. It was more, now I need to market to the buyers that are left, because we can get all the leads we want and get everything on contract. If there's not the same buyers needing the same things they needed before, then your deals aren't going anywhere. So what we did was we reverse engineered and we started marketing to the buyers first, and then starting with them and funneling down to our sellers. So we started, when we started the quarter, one of the things we did was email blast, SMS blast, and cold call all our buyers and see who was still actively buying, and going on Facebook and getting a bunch of new buyers to see like, hey, who is still actively buying? And we were getting lots of responses, and just filtering out the people who are actively buying and the people who aren't actively buying. Right? Not to say that those people who aren't actively buying aren't good buyers, but right this second, I didn't want to focus on them. I wanted to focus on the people who, it doesn't matter what state you're in, they're the ones that are still going to buy no matter what. And I wanted to make sure that our deals were coming catered to what their needs were. So that's how we reverse engineered it. And then once we did that, we went back and we were like, all right, we're going to market now to the sellers that we had in our system from before. All these other sellers that said no before, they're in a state of panic, and we're going to make sure we can cater to them, get our deals down, and stack up our pipeline. And I know there are people who are fearing like, oh, title companies and this and that. A lot of states, especially the markets I'm in, are doing mobile notary and doing all that stuff. So they started adjusting too. So I think it was more of a period of adjustment and not getting fearful of what was happening, right? 100% wholesaling to me is still working, because that's what our company basically runs off, is wholesaling in 3 different markets virtually from New York, right? I don't go to these markets, so it's all virtual. So I feel like it was just adjusting to what was going on in the state of the market more than just going into a state of panic, right? And I saw more opportunity than I saw fear of the coronavirus. And for us, so far, this quarter is going to be, and I'm a firm believer, is going to be one of our best quarters again, right? Why? Because it's just like the way that we reacted from day one. It wasn't like I said, a state of panic. It was more like, what do we do? How do we, our job is to be problem solvers as entrepreneurs and in wholesaling as well. So I felt like we reacted as problem solvers, as what we do in this business. We're solving the seller's problem and we're solving the buyer's problem. Most of the buyers were telling us like, yes, we're still actively buying. Not most of them. Some of them were saying we were still actively buying, some weren't. And that was okay. The ones that were actively buying, they're like, we're actively buying, but I wanted things at this price. We need it at this price. Make sure that, okay, I see what your ARVs and your comps are. Just discount it a little bit more because, you know, the numbers are changing and shifting. So we had to understand that. We had to train our guys to understand that and train everyone in the company. So we understood, okay, this is how they're buying right now. So when we get on the phones, this is how we're going to cater our offers and stuff like that. So once we started getting contracts, I mean, I haven't had any trouble. We just assigned a 30K deal on Friday, and we have another 25K deal that Cecilia's assigning today. So it's just like things are moving. It's more so on how you react to what's going on. So I don't think, I mean, I can show you guys here, like
that's $55,000 in a week.
Yeah. So if you see here, like by market, this is just for April, and April's not even over, right? So it'll show you like what we've assigned by market just for April. In total, unassigned by market, these are still contracts that are just coming in. And then today, this number is going to go up, where, you know, it's going to go up because Cecilia's still assigning stuff. She has a 3-property deal, a 2-property deal, contracts that came in from last week and things that are coming in. But these are all being catered to buyers who, like I stated, are making sure that the numbers make sense. Yeah, we can make off of 25K or 30K, we can make 50K if it wasn't another, but we just adjust it to them, right? We want to make sure that they understand that we are giving them a discount and we are looking out for them, and they are still buying. So they do deserve some sort of like discount or whatever it is for the times that we're in. And they do understand. That's why they always come back and they're always buying deals from us. We have, I think it's like 4 closings next week, and there's 1 closing this Friday. So things are still going on, and everything is happening virtually. Like I said, everyone just had to adjust to the times that we're in. And it was more of a mind shift than a state of being in fear.
Yeah, that's amazing. And thank you again for being so transparent and sharing your CRM and showing the deals that you're doing right now and the income, the revenue that you're making right now in spite of what's going on out there. I want to ask you a question. What specifically were your buyers telling you, besides just a price drop? What other things were they telling you that they wanted you to, like, what's their criteria that they were sharing with you that they needed for you to adjust with your sellers and your acquisition team?
Yeah, so one of the things that was really interesting in our main market, which is Philadelphia, a lot of buyers, not that they didn't buy rentals before, but now they were looking for rentals, right? They're like, we're not really concerned with flips. If it has a tenant, we'll take it. We're going to flip it later down the road. But right now, we don't mind the cash flow because it makes sense. If you're catering it around, you know, basically having a property with tenants for the next 3 months, and in August I'll flip it, then that makes more sense for me as an investor. And we were understanding that. So what we started doing was targeting people that had, or sellers that had tenants in place. And is there a cash flow going on? Because right now their worry is not flipping the property right away. It's, we're going to flip it. The numbers are there, but we need some sort of cash flow while we hold on to it.
So their entire business, so they're still buying, but their entire business model changed from quicker cash to let's get some passive income to ride through whatever we're going through right now and see how long this lasts. That's great. That's amazing. Yeah. And then was there any concern with any of your buyers and their lenders, and what are things you did on that side to help any buyers that still needed financing but no longer had financing, or were you just focused on just strictly cash buyers?
No, I think that was one of the other things that when I had discussed with disposition, we spoke about, right? I was like, we don't have to just specify to cash buyers, like you have to be a cash buyer. No, again, our job is to solve problems as entrepreneurs and as wholesalers, especially as wholesalers. And you're not only solving problems for sellers, you're catering to the buyers too, because at the end of the day, we are essentially the middleman who's making the transaction work together. So my focus has not only been on the sellers, like I said, we reverse engineered, and now my focus was on the buyers too, because I do understand this is how they eat and how they make money. So I'm like, if you don't have a lender, we'll figure it out for you, and we're gonna do our due diligence and call lenders and refer you to people that we know, and make sure that we'll send our deals to the lenders. Like, hey, look over this deal, and even when we send out the deal, like, this deal comes with a lender that we know will, approve this deal. Let us know if you're interested. And we did things to also cater to the buyers as well. So I feel like that didn't affect us, because the buyers saw, like, okay, even if my lender's not doing it, they're giving me options.
I love that. So you're sending out deals that you had already pre-approved with lenders you knew were still lending today.
Yes.
And so it was easier for a buyer that looked at it to say yes, saying, hey, this deal it's a great deal, and it already comes with pre-approved financing from a private or a hard money lender. So it's an easy yes.
Oh, yeah, as long as they looked at their portfolio and stuff like that, and the buyer was the right fit. But it's like, we knew lenders that were still lending, and they're like, hey, and they send out emails, and I'm like, hey, look, this lender is still lending on this deal, or even deals that were going to die out. We'll say, hey, like, this lender at ABC Street is still lending. Like, do you want to try out, like, and see if they're able to save the deal for you? And they would never turn it down, because it's not that they didn't want the property. It's just like their lender wasn't lending. So I feel like it was just a state of mind of not only helping the sellers, but we're in the business of helping in general and solving people's problems, right? And this is a problem now that investors are having, and they're just like, okay, well, I don't have a lender. What do I do next? Right? And our job was always to make it easier for these investors. We're bringing you a deal served on a platter with the titles clean, where this is, and now it's just like, okay, now this deal is served on a platter, and we have options for you just in case your lender can't come through.
That's amazing. I wanted to ask you, what are you doing in terms of marketing right now? Are you spending more money on marketing? What are you seeing as far as lead flow goes right now in the midst of all of this? What does that look like for business?
So for marketing on the seller sides, we are still doing marketing. I'm doing strictly cold calling and SMS right now. RVM, I know, because of the legalities, there's just like a lot going on. So we're just focusing on SMS and cold calling, but we haven't like backed down from marketing at all. What I did was, again, reverse engineered that. I still bought new marketing and new data and stuff like that, because there are new tax defaults, and there are new, people that are in the pipeline that need nurturing, right? Because the way I look at it is like, I want to line myself up. When all this is done, we already have our pipeline filled with the old stuff, filled with the new stuff that we were nurturing while everybody else stopped buying. We were nurturing them, and they're going to remember us. And our pipeline will be filled from here to August, where it's just like, okay, we're just stacking our pipeline to make sure that they know that we're still around, and, the buyers are still buying from us. And even if we can't close, let's say next month, and some buyers are like, listen, I can buy this deal. I'll give you your asking price. Can we close in June? We're making that possible for them, right? Because we understand the times that we're in. So it was just like I said, our marketing reversed it, just focused on the old leads, put in new data as well, but it was just doing the older ones first, and then the new ones come next.
What kind of data are you looking at right now, or what type of lead types of data are you looking at right now?
So one of the things that I actually did focus on, which I didn't focus on before, was owner occupied, right? Because I feel like people don't focus on the owner occupied because the owners live there. And I'm like, a lot of people are losing their jobs, and a lot of people are behind on their payments, and a lot of people are, you have to think ahead of, okay, what's going to happen in the next 2 months. So we did focus on the owner occupied list in order for us to, again, align ourselves and prepare ourselves for June and July, and say, okay, people are losing their jobs, and maybe in June and July they'll start thinking they're going to lose their properties, or they want to just sell their property and get that cash flow to do something else with it. We'll be here to help, and we're already lining ourselves up. Like, you own this property, you're owner occupied. Not really much people were ever hitting this list, so we started hitting those lists, and it's been working pretty well for us.
Oh man, I hear your guy in the background. He's on the phone. He's
yeah.
They're working those leads. Yeah. All right. So what advice would you give someone that's looking at real estate as a possible, industry to get into right now? Because as you just mentioned it, the news the other day said that it's up to 20 million right now. People have filed for unemployment. That's a lot of people. That's record-breaking numbers. And so people are sitting at home right now wondering, what do I do? And while there are businesses going out of business, going bankrupt, there are certain industries that are thriving. And thank God, real estate is one of those things. And what I love about real estate, specifically about our industry, what I love the most is that you can make a lot of money really fast. You can help and serve a lot of people, especially now during these times. But the barrier to entry is so low compared to starting a business right now. You don't need cash. You don't need credit. You don't need a real estate license, right? You don't need a real estate license. You don't even need to know construction knowledge or know-how. It's so easy to enter this business, serve people right now that need your help, and make a lot of money in the process. And so I love that. So what would you say to someone that's looking at this as a possible work from home opportunity? Because you're doing this completely virtually yourself in multiple states like that. What would you say to someone to encourage them to take this serious and use it as a possible opportunity to make money right now, forget a job, forget the one stimulus check the government's sending you, and build a legacy for yourself, your family? What would you say to them?
I think that one thing, for example, I'm going to use my journey as an example. When I started in the business, which was like a year and a half ago, right? And we've had a lot of success in a year and a half. When I started the business, I had to balance out a full-time job, and I had to balance out trying to start and enter the business. And at that time, the business was saturated a lot. So as I was balancing that, I also had to figure out a way where I can I can let my company let me work from home, the company I was working with then. So I'm like, how do I get them to allow me to work from home? So I had to come up with a story so I can get, into my house to be able to work from home and run my business, right? And I think right now people need to see the opportunity. There is no story. You are home. Even if you're working from home, right? Or if you're unemployed from home, you have no excuse. But even if you're working from home, there are so many hours in the day, right? And even running a business, we wake up at 5:30 in the morning, make sure that we get our things in place, make sure our business starts running by 9 a.m., 8:30 a.m. There is so much time on your plate right now because you are home without having to make an excuse to start building on a legacy and building a business. I think it's not, can you do it? Are you prepared to do it? Your mindset. You have to start, nurturing your mindset and saying like, I'm going to go into this. Yeah, it'll be a little hard to learn things at first, but this isn't a business that's not working. I feel like one of the businesses in real estate that's going to thrive the most during this time, that is thriving the most during this time, right? Because it's recession proof in my eyes. Why wouldn't you? People are selling their properties because they're in fear, and there's real investors that are still out there buying properties. So it's just like the perfect business model. There's so much things that you can do right now with this business. And especially since besides the stimulus check, if you are on unemployment, take that money and invest it in education, invest it in like whatever you need to do to start your business. And that's one of the things that I feel like, because I always say I've been in the business only a year and a half, it's not luck. It was pure hustle, and it was pure me investing in education and investing in my time. People paid for college to become doctors. I paid for education to understand the business I was trying to go into. So I feel like that's important. These checks that people are getting and on the time that they have is use it wisely rather than shopping and doing all that stuff. Go and invest in, mindset. Go and invest in learning a trade in real estate and things that you want to do in real estate, and take that as an opportunity. You're home right now, right? So yeah, I think that's basically one thing people should think about at this time.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. And show your screen one more time. You were in this business. You've been in this business for a year and a half. Yeah. And how much money are you making this month again? I got to see it one more time. They want to see it one more time. How much is that?
It's $153,000 assigned this month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And how consistently are you doing 6 figures per month right now? Just a year and a half in.
Yeah, we've been doing it very consistently since when was it? April of 2019. Yeah, 19, because we're in 2020. Yes, in April, I went to my first not my first, my second mentorship. And then when I went to a mentorship and I learned about, more, I knew about wholesaling and you learn the basic stuff. But when I went and I, started learning deeper into like things that I can start implementing in my business, because I already knew I was getting deals, but now it was like, how do I build a business? And once I started using the money that I was doing deals with, or even the money that I was working from my company, I would reinvest it back into the business so that I can educate myself. So from that point on, it was just building a business and consistently doing 6 figures a month.
Oh my goodness. How long were you with Real Advisors now? I can't remember the month you
April. I joined.
April of
Yeah, I joined Real Advisors April of last year.
April of last year. And since then,
Year.
man, so yeah, it's exactly 1 year now. But you were in the business as a year and a half, but April of last year when you joined, you started seeing 6 figure months, and it's been consistent ever since. Oh my goodness. And you started this business working a full-time job. You had to hustle. You found the time, no excuses, because people come up with all kinds of excuses. They don't have the money. They don't have the time. And we have a no excuse policy with our business. If you truly want it, if you want it bad enough, you will make the time. And even now today, you're doing 6 figures a month, and you've been doing so for consistently a year's time frame, and you're still waking up at 5 a.m. every day, preparing yourself for the day, adjusting your business, preparing yourself to thrive in the new economy. And what I love, you said it also, you alluded to it earlier, is in the next few weeks and months to come, more sellers are going to be coming into the marketplace because the situation is going to get worse. Tons of people have lost their jobs. They don't have money. Their financial situation right now, they don't have savings. All right. So, and as the market comes back, we don't know what the employment market is going to look like. And so a lot of people are going to be strapped financially. And on top of that, in addition to a lot of sellers coming into the marketplace, a lot of investors that were scared, not knowing how to adapt to this marketplace, have left. And so it's cleared the path of all of the competitors for you to do more deals. The hedge funds, the big hedge funds are no longer buying, right? So it's amazing time right now. The conditions are so perfect right now to completely dominate a new industry. And you said it best, right now, while you're home is a time to forget Netflix, forget watching TV, learn a new skill that's going to pay you over and over and over again. The stimulus check from the government is only going to pay you one time. Learn something new, such as real estate investing, where many people have said over the years that it's, real estate is one of those industries that makes millionaires and billionaires, especially during times like this. And in times like this is when you can add another zero to your net worth. And so why not learn a new skill set that can pay you over and over and over again and help you build a legacy for yourself, your family, and change your financial future forever. It's something that can never be taken away from you once you learn it, and you'll always get paid from it. Some of the other things I would do though is learn some new, because there's so many different ways to make money in this business. Wholesaling is one of them. But specifically, I talked about this with one of our other interviews that I did, is creative buying, learning how to buy creatively right now, creative selling, and some other things like REOs and short sales. Those strategies are going to come. They're going to come very soon, where they're going to be the thing you want to lean in on. It's not just going to be getting deals direct from the actual homeowners, right? No more, not just direct to seller marketing is going to work, but the banks are going to become your motivated sellers here pretty soon. So those are some of the other things that you're going to need to lean in on. Last question for you, Ashley, is what would you say to those active investors right now watching this video, seeing that you're still dominating and thriving in your own marketplace, but they've been caught up in their head with some of the negative outside media that has been affecting their mindset and how they adapt and shift in their business? What would you say to encourage those active investors right now? Because here's the thing, just a few months ago, we had some new investors coming to the marketplace, looking at this as before COVID even hit. And they're just starting with their business. And I feel like for a lot of them, it's like, man, when COVID hit, they got deflated. They got discouraged. Their mindset shifted in a bad way because they're feeding, they're allowing those outside negative voices from the media and elsewhere to feed their focus and what they're doing. So what would you say to encourage them right now to lean in, stay focused, make some quick changes? What would you say to really keep them focused on the right things right now?
Yeah, I think one important thing to remember as an entrepreneur, and even those that started before COVID hit, is like remember why you started, right? What is
Yeah.
your why? And whatever your why is, always remember that. And I don't know, I think most people, 99% of people that come into entrepreneurship, when you start, you understand that there's good, there's bad, there's the ugly, and then there's the sunshine, right? And as long
Yeah.
as you understand that, there's nothing to be afraid of. And even the outside noise, you have to understand that certain people are not built to go through hardships. And there's many opportunities out there. We're all opportunists, we're all entrepreneurs, but there's many people that just give up on certain things because it just didn't work out for them. And it doesn't mean it's not going to work out for you. And I think that this is the best time to be in wholesaling. And this is the best time to remember, again, why you started. Remember why you did all of this. And this would, if you look at the cup half empty, then you're looking at it wrong. If you look at it half full, then you're looking at it like, okay, we're getting somewhere, right? Because this is the best time to look at this business or any business that you started around, before COVID happened, and say like, this is my time to better my craft. This is my time to see other opportunities rather than seeing the things that are being lost. Look at the opportunities that are happening and unfolding right before your eyes. And me personally, I don't dwell on negative noise. I don't, because I always stay in my mind and I focus on mindset and I focus on, and that's why I wake up at 5:30 in the morning to exercise my mindset, because there's nothing that can defeat you if you remember why you started.
I'm so thankful for you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
It's so important to understand your why. And again, people that are looking at this business as a possible vehicle to help them through these times right now, they're probably thinking about that why right now. It could be their family member. How am I going to provide for my family? How am I going to be a breadwinner for
Yeah.
my family? Things are tough right now, but it's all about them. And it's not, for those active investors in this business as well, it's not a matter of if it's going to get bad or if things are going to get tougher. It's when. And those times are now. It is challenging out there.
Yeah.
Times are hard out there. Lenders and buyers are backing out. We get it. But just like you and everyone else I've interviewed all said the same thing. Hey, I could have gotten caught up with the negativity. In fact, one person said, I was actually scared for the first 2 weeks. I was paralyzed for 2 weeks, for the first 2 weeks when this all hit. I didn't know what to do. And thank God she shifted and snapped out of it, unlike I did, in the last recession. When the last recession came, I got caught in that negative mindset and it messed with me. I became depressed. I lost everything overnight. And it took me 2 years. I lost 2 years of time because I was just caught up in that negativity and I was paralyzed. I couldn't do anything. It took a toll on my marriage. It took a toll on my family. And because I wasn't surrounding myself with like-minded people like yourself and others within our community. So thank you so much for sharing that. You have to stay in tune with your why. When the going gets tough, when a buyer backs out, a lender backs out, a seller walks away, you're going to get pissed off. But what's going to keep you moving forward with positive momentum is staying in tune with your why. And so thank you for sharing that, Ashley. Thank you so much again for jumping in today. I know you are a super busy woman, closing a lot of deals right now. And so thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to just share with us and speak to our community, our family members, what you're specifically doing in your business to adapt, thrive. And Ashley, I'm also thankful that you're one of our coaches as well, helping other fellow members, thrive as well and change their financial future. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, Dolmar.